What's up, everyone? Welcome to the stats you need to know for fantasy football week 9. I am your host, Keith Flemming, joined as always by the amazing Kacey Kasem, who a little hatless today, huh? I
I'm
guess we swapped
hatless.
it up. I got on a
Yeah.
beanie. You have on no
I
hat.
just was in the mood to just throw it up in a ponytail and just go on with my day. That's what this day's been like today. So,
I'm thinking about growing mine back out.
yeah.
I've donated it twice, like I've grown it out long, and then I think it's like 9 inches, and you can donate it. Thinking about
Yeah.
doing it again. I every time though, I'm not gonna lie, I get really sad when I cut my hair. So I actually understand now why women are like, I can't believe I cut my hair.
Ugh,
It's like, yeah, you're like going to like put it up. It's like, oh, that's right, it's gone.
I know. I did it one
Um,
time, cut it all off, and I was
di-
like,
what'd you think?
it was weird. I was 18, so it was like a really long time ago, but still, it was like, this is cool, but not.
So I think Casey's like, I'm gonna wear my hair long, and you
Yeah.
can just deal with it. Again, we do the stats you need to know every week for fantasy football. Nerds
Mhm.
rejoice.
Yep.
And I want to start by taking a minor victory lap
Mm.
because I did not understand the discourse in the fantasy football community this summer when people were questioning, was Rashee Rice worth a fifth or sixth round pick because of the 6 game suspension? And I was going, are we serious? Like, he was a supernova the last 8 games of his rookie season, rookie year, people out targeting Travis Kelsey, kind of before Kelsey had like lost a step. Came out last year, had 3 monster weeks, and then unfortunately Patrick Mahomes tried to make a tackle, messed him up real bad. He was done for the year. And 2 weeks ago, he came back. We talked about it. He only ran 19 routes. He got
Yeah.
10 targets, scored 23.8 points. Well, he followed up week 2, people, with 25.5. Uh, he's been wide receiver 1 for those 2 weeks. No surprise to people like us, averaging 24.4 points per game. The numbers are even better: 26% target share, almost 3 yards per route run. Big one for me: 31.4% first read target share. And again, this is a team that leads the NFL and passes over expectation. And then Patrick Mahomes for his career when targeting Rashee Rice. Good Lord. 127 passer rating, almost an 80% completion percentage, 79.5, 11 touchdowns, just 1 interception, 9.2 yards per attempt, and 0.41 EPA per dropback. Last week, we talked about Mahomes had a 0.36 EPA per dropback in the first game as a whole with Rice back. So that is the level, and that was the ninth highest, by the way, of his career in a single game. And he's averaging higher than that when he targets this dude. So that's going to continue. And I actually saw Matt Harmon shared a great stat where you can pretty much guarantee 5 receptions for Rashee Rice. He caught 4 balls each of the last 2 weeks at the line of scrimmage or behind him. He is going to be their run game. If you drafted him, congrats.
Yeah.
It's good times ahead.
It's good times ahead indeed. And if you drafted this gentleman, Tucker Kraft,
I wish I would have.
you might be
Zero
happy.
shares.
You might be happy. Because let's look at his target share by his seasons, okay? Rookie year, he had 7%. Then
That's not
it
good.
bumped up. It bumped up to 15% last year in year 2. And then this year, year 3, we got 21% now. He's averaging 11.2 yards after the catch per reception. That's the most in the league among wide receivers and tight ends. In the last 20 seasons, the highest yards after catch averaged by a tight end, George Kittle's 9.9 in 2018. Okay? That's a minimum of 25 receptions. But then look at this. Then look at this. Let's just look at what Tucker Kraft, he would be the wide receiver 8 in points per game with 16.2 this season. Okay, more than London, Odunze, Abuka. I mean, pretty much a stud, it sounds like.
He reminds me so much of Gronk. He's so big and just so physical after the catch. Again, he's averaging 11 yards after the catch. I'm just glad to see they're starting to target him
Yeah,
a lot because he's just
thank
a
you.
nightmare mismatch. I hate to be talking about this guy again. I don't like the Patriots. It makes me sick that they already have this unbelievable quarterback who's still just 23 years old. But Drake Maye extended his streak of 7 consecutive games with a passer rating of 100 or higher. In the history of the NFL, since they've been tracking that stat, there was all of 4 quarterbacks with a longer streak. Pretty good list. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and Lamar Jackson. We talked last week about it's 2 weeks ago, that Maye was tied with Mahomes and Marino for the most consecutive games of 200-plus passing yards, 100-plus passer rating. He's now standing alone for quarterbacks 23 years or younger. And then it doesn't matter who he's facing. He's faced 3 defenses that rank in the top 10 of the toughest matchups for quarterbacks in terms of fantasy. He scored 23 points or more in all 3 of those games, and he's about to play my Falcons. And the Patriots, and I just want you to really think about the Patriots' offensive skill players. Like, I think they would rank in the bottom third if you just thought about like their running backs, receivers, tight ends. Yet they rank 7th in scoring offense, and of those top 7 teams, they have the highest percentage of their touchdowns coming through the air, thanks to Drake Maye at 68%. And he is right now QB number 2. Only Patrick Mahomes is averaging more points per game. And the rushing is starting to happen. He had his most rushing yards in a game this week. All of a sudden, he is averaging 4.6 points per game on the ground. So if he's going to be throwing for 200 yards, throwing multiple touchdowns, throwing an extra 4.5 points, Drake Maye could end up being QB number 1 in his first year as a starter and knowing a full year, and also has a legit chance to win the MVP. Screw you, New England.
Who knew you'd be talking about him like that? Here's James Cook. We're going to talk about him now.
Go
he's
Dogs.
averaging 19.7 points per game and has not been targeted in the passing game since week 5.
Whew.
He only has 12 receptions for 89 yards this year. But, okay, still, only Jonathan Taylor, CMC, Bijan, and our boy Gibbs, they're the only ones averaging more.
They're catching quite a few passes, I believe.
I believe. Go check that out. He's averaging 24.9 points per game in the Bills' 5 wins. Then you compare that to 6.8 points per game in their 2 losses. They still have games against the Dolphins, Browns, Steelers, Jets, Bengals. And considering Cook's carry percentage has increased 20% from last year, he's got a real chance to be a top 5 RB this year and with PPR catches, even if the lack of volume in the pass game continues to be like it is.
He's ridiculous. And again, people question because of his size and stuff, could he be a featured back? He has answered all those questions with resounding yes, I can. Again, damn good dog. Let's talk about this Bengals passing offense. And Joe Flacco, wacko, is at it again. He has 126 pass attempts with the Bengals. The targets are just redonkulous for Jamar Chase. 54 of those 126 have gone to Chase. That is a 43% target share. T. Higgins is second at 20. After that, doesn't really matter. And then the target shares for Chase with Flacco. He had 12 in the first week, 30%. They said, let's up this. 23 the second week, that's 51%. And even though they threw it less, it was actually the least pass attempts that Flacco had in the game. He had 19 targets, 58% of them. 42 targets, people, the last 2 weeks. If you just take Chase's targets from the 3 games with Flacco, that would be more than DK Metcalf, Nico Collins, Travis Hunter, Stephon Diggs, Jaylen Waddle, A.J. Brown for the entire season. It is absolutely redonkulous. He also leads the NFL in catchable targets in that span with 45. Lab McConkey is second with 25.
What a gap.
I just can't get over. He's had 54 targets. 45 of them have been catchable. Hello, Joe Flacco. It's not all good, though, if you're owning Bengals players, because, yes, Chase Brown is ascending. And I know T. Higgins has technically had he has had double-digit points with each game with Flacco. But if you watch this week, he literally was able to survive that on 2 targets thanks to a 44-yard touchdown. His target share is down to just 16% in the 3 Flacco starts. If this continues, very good news. If you took Jamar Chase, obviously it's like one of the top 3 picks. Not great news if you have T. Higgins, if it continues.
Some more wide receivers to talk about. Switching gears, switching over to Denver, we're going to talk about Troy Franklin and Cortland Sutton. You know those guys, the guys that were like, which one's wide receiver 1? Well, let's figure it out. Maybe. The last 2 weeks, Cortland Sutton, 24.1% first read target percentage, 19.3% target percentage, 0.22 targets per route run, 6 red zone targets, and 7 deep targets. Now listen to Franklin's.
This is ridiculous. I had no idea about this.
I didn't either. This is fun. 20.6% first read, 18.6% target percentage. He's got 0.24 TPRR, 12 red zone targets, 12 and 9 deep targets. So you tell me.
Sounds like number 1 wide receiver to me. Don't
Man.
forget, this is one thing I said last year. Of course, never wrong, just early. Him and Bo Nix played in college.
Mhm.
There's obviously a connection, and we're seeing that. So if for some reason Franklin is available, whether it be, you're in a smaller league waiver wire or, it's the last week, I think, in most leagues where you can, make trades, might be something that where, again, they may not know, just like we didn't know that information until we looked up the stuff for this week. Let's talk about the Juggernaut Colts offense a little bit more. You may remember last week I mentioned that they were averaging 3.5 points per possession. Again, if you're not good at math, that is a touchdown every other possession. I'd also like to add, this includes kneel downs. The highest average, by the way, that 3.5 this century. 07 Pats, 2018 Chiefs, not averaging 3.5 points per possession. So week 8, they get the Titans, and they did exactly what you think they should do. They went out, scored 38 points on just 8 possessions. One of those 8 possessions was a 1-play kneel down. They now have a plus-minus overall for their scoring of plus 116, which is 49 points ahead of any other team in the NFL, those New England Patriots. And the big reason, we know, what did you text me, right, about your Queen's classes?
I was going to lose. I had 2 guys score 0 points. 2 guys score 0.
I got your back.
Jonathan Taylor saved the day. I got the second highest. I don't even know that. When that bye week rolls around, I'm going to be in deep trouble.
He's 10K, by the way, basically on DraftKings this week, and I'm probably still going to play him. Taylor thus far this season, 143 carries, that's first. 850 rushing yards, that is also first. 12 rushing touchdowns, his third 3-touchdown game. We're freaking 8 weeks into the season. His pace now is pretty insane because the touches 357, that's not like, Barkley had more rush attempts last year, but he is on pace for 2,244 total yards and 31 total touchdowns, which would tie him, I believe, with LaDainian Tomlinson for the most in an individual season all time in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor, we salute you.
We do. Here's another guy that you might want to salute. We got Jayden Noel over here the last 2 weeks. Now, let me give you a little bit of some happy stats here from Fantasy Points Data, okay? Our friends over there.
Thanks.
Last 2 weeks, despite still running routes on less than half of the Texans' passing plays.
Let's let them run a few more routes there, Texans.
He's still, even despite that, 0.30 targets per route. That's 9th among 81 wide receivers.
Hello.
And on top of that, 3.18 yards per route, 6th. Plus 6 deep targets. That's tied for first. 4 deep receptions, first, and 58.0 deep yards per game. That's third. And add to that 18.3% first read target share, which was second. It's second on the Texans. Like, that 2 weeks,
I think the Texas offense is going to get going here.
Getting going. Yeah.
Nico Collins, it's going to help him having an additional wide receiver. I know he's been banged up and obviously missed this week, but the fact that he had an 18% first read target share and he's not even running routes on half of the passing plays, that means they are like, look, we're going to design plays and get you the ball. And I think he's going to open up everything for Collins and that Texans offense. And one thing that CJ Stroud is definitely elite at is throwing the ball down the field. Let's talk about a tight end that I'm very thankful to have on a ton of best ball leagues. That is Mason Taylor. He led the Jets again on Sunday in target share at 24.2%. And again, there's only 3 tight ends in football averaging over 20% target share for the season. He is 20% target share for the last 5 games. And again, I think if it was not for week 1, where he only got 2 targets, he would actually be averaging 20%. He's at 18% right now. But the thing was that just was outrageous. 5 red zone targets. That is the most in a single game all season, tying him with Trey McBride, Devontae Adams, and Hunter Renfrow. Like, what the hell was going on? It shows how banged up the Panthers pass catchers were. But I know Garrett Wilson's going to come back. It's the same reason I drafted him in so many best balls this year. Who the hell else are the Jets going to throw it to? They may trade Breece Hall, who he definitely upped his value by, running all over a terrible Cincinnati run defense. But either way, Mason Taylor is probably available in a lot of leagues. Yeah. And if it's a PPR format particularly, he's going to get targets. And we saw on Sunday, if the Jets can get in the red zone, which that's the issue, he's going to get red zone targets as well.
I wonder how many people that actually did dropped him after that one poor showing. And then, it's how it goes in football and fantasy football. That's just how it goes, So here's how it goes.
It's a roller coaster.
It is a roller coaster. And here's another roller coaster for you with the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, all of this. So the Dolphins fantasy points per game averages since Tyreek Hill was lost for the season. We're going to take out the one bad weather game, okay?
Yeah, and remember, that was like 30 to 40 miles. It was nasty.
It was gross. So let's just pretend that didn't happen. No, but
I want to strike that from the record, Your Honor.
It's sometimes, mulligan. Jaylen Waddle, 19.9 fantasy points per game. That's wide receiver 6 since Tyreek's been gone. Let's look at our guy, Devon Achane. He, 22.6 fantasy points per game, 11.5 from receiving only, which makes him the wide receiver 38 with those receiving points. Like, I didn't know this either. Shows you how much I have them rostered.
Well, that's what frustrates me is Jaylen Waddle. I read about 3-4 weeks ago. I wish I could give credit to the person I read it from, but they were making the case right after the Tyreek Hill injury, go get Jaylen Waddle. Like, he's probably dirt cheap, My concern was Tua.
Yeah,
but
mine was
it
too.
Just shows the volume. And you also have to remember that Tua is very good at getting the ball out really quickly. And Jaylen Waddle, unlike Tyreek Hill, is not somebody that's going to be, throwing it down the field. A lot of his stuff is underneath, shorter throws, and he has been incredible. Like, I got to tip my cap. I wish I would have gone out and tried to trade for him because now you're going to spend for it. And just remember, Atlanta, like, I don't want to talk about Atlanta, but they've been very good against the pass this year. Jaylen Waddle smoked him. No wide receiver has done that all season. So,
Get it.
The fins up, I guess is what they say. The last stat on my end is for our man Zay Flowers, who commanded yet again a 24% or higher target share. That is now, for those keeping stats, which we are, 6 of 7 games this season. That's 86%. He did that in just 65% of his games last year. He's at almost 30%, 29.2 on the season. That's wide receiver 7. Don't forget, he's played a lot of those games without his boy Lamar Jackson.
Oh,
In the 4 starts with Lamar, he's had 7 or more receptions and 3 of 4 and 8+ targets, and all of them. Zay Flowers is a guy that could seriously end up being a top 10 wide receiver the second half of the season. I have a feeling this Ravens offense is going to get going, not only just because Lamar's coming back, Derrick Henry showed a pulse, but more than anything, if you look at their schedule, they have a very easy schedule rest of the season. They got all their tough games out of the way. We'll see if they can be the first team in NFL history to start 1-5 and win their division. I think there's a real possibility, especially with the Steelers losing on Sunday, which was huge. If they can beat Miami Thursday and then Pittsburgh the next week, they'll probably be at most just 1 game back.
and you know what? I can believe it with all the crazy stuff that's been going on in the
It's been a
NFL.
weird year.
And this is weird, sad,
this is so
gruesome,
sad.
horrible, heartbreaking. Cam Scatterboo. All right. He
Both
suffered.
dynasty leagues, Casey.
I
I
mean-
drafted him. Like, he was
Yeah.
the reason I was having a good season in both dynasty leagues. And I saw somebody text me, Scatterboo just had a horrific injury. And I'm like, that's not funny to joke about. And they're like, no, I'm
don't
serious.
Do that, bruh.
I threw something at the TV.
Yeah, I was at a restaurant eating, and they had the game on, no sound, and I just looked up and saw them carting him, and I was like, "What happened?"
Did you make the mistake of going to Twitter like I did and typing
No.
in his name and
I just-
immediately it's like, you guys are assholes. I don't want to see that. Like, I do
No,
not
I
wanna
just
see
texted my
somebody's
dad,
leg
and I was like,
this.
I was like, "Did you see it?" He said, "I didn't see it. I'll Google it." And I was like, "Whatever,
Oh,
okay."
it's awful.
So that happened. Season
Yeah.
ending, and on top of that, it's like worse than we thought it was. All kinds of leg issues. So after the game, Tyrone Tracy, remember Tyrone Tracy, y'all?
I do.
He
I dropped
received.
him, and, like,
That's
every
what I was
week.
gonna say. I did too. Hello, 7 of 9 carries. Okay, once Cam left that game, 7 of the 9 carries, including the only one that came from inside the 10.
I don't know if that's a good sign for the Giants that they weren't inside the 10-yard line much after Scatterboo went, but volume's volume, people.
Volume, and the 11.8% target share as well. Following the trend before Scatterboo had his injury, Tracy was the clear number 2 running back there. Seeing 80% of the non-Scatterboo touches. Wow, can't
I
even
like
say his
Bo.
name. I'm so upset.
Scatterboo.
I'm so upset. I just said his name wrong. But yes, the last 2 weeks since he returned from injury. So he's seen 80% since he came back from injury. Because remember, Tyrone Tracy was injured a little bit there. So
Quote unquote injured. They were just
injured
like,
there a
sorry,
little
you
bit.
lost your
Another
job
reason
to a
we dropped
monster.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that they need him, he can actually be a fringe top 24 running back the rest of the season. I mean, last year,
He was good.
Yeah. And he's going to be replacing Scatterboo, who'd seen the 4th highest fantasy running back volume since week 3. So it's there for the taking. Let's see what we can do with it. Let's see if
The
it's actually
offense is
there.
much better this
It
year.
is improving.
Like Jackson Dart. We
Yeah.
talked about him last week. He went out and scored 19 points again.
Again.
Scored 9 points again just with his legs.
And I never thought I'd be like Jackson Dart or, who I drafted to be whoever I have,
Yep.
Caleb Williams or whoever,
I think
I'm
there's only
man.
like 7 quarterbacks I would play right now for sure, not knowing the matchups above Jackson Dart. Who would have thought we'd say that? But again,
No.
the guy I compared him to last week is Bo Nix, where people kept questioning last year, like,
Yeah.
should I pick him up? Should I start him? Nix ended the season QB8.
He did.
And I think
And he
that's
brought that
about
team.
where Dart's probably going to end this season, especially with Scatterboo and gone. I would assume he runs even more. Can we also just for a second talk about what did the Giants do? Was it beating the Patriots in 2 Super Bowls that they probably shouldn't have? Because they are cursed.
Yeah.
I
I was going
mean,
to say they sold their
neighbors,
soul.
right? We had that stat earlier this year where they've had 6 all wide receivers and tight ends drafted in the first 2 rounds since 2014 have torn their ACL at
That
their
is-
home stadium.
Yeah. It's
And then
maybe someone should
Scatterboo,
check into that.
unbelievable like breakout. He was just beloved in New York, and like him and Dart. They're like
I'm a
even
Cowboys
losing
fan, and I'm
neighbors.
still like, you're making football fun again. Let's go.
We're still jacked, and then they can't have anything nice. I can't wait to talk to my good buddy Joe Matz. Friday's DFS show is going to be a real pity party. He's going to have the Scataboo. We get to talk about my Falcons, once again, suckering me in 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Football to, yes, like I'm back. I believe in us. And then literally in 2 weeks, they ruined it yet again for me. And I remember that everything is awful.
Cowboys are doing that for me too. So
that was a tough loss.
Oh,
Let me, I just realized, does it say I want to pet all your dogs?
Oh, it says I want to pet. Yeah, I want to pet all the dogs and play all the fantasy
I want that
football.
shirt. I'm gonna go to the link.
SundayDreamersClub.com.
Go ahead. With Sunday
I was just wanting to deploy,
Club.com. I really am. When I get paid on Friday, I'm ordering that shirt, and I'm getting one for my wife too.
Thanks.
Well, I don't know if she really plays fantasy football. Maybe we'll get both of them, and I'll do like the old wrestling Daniel Bryan shirts where we take tape and just put it over the bottom where hers just says, I want to pet all the dogs. So, any big plans for Halloween before we get out of here?
No, I have a costume idea that if I find a place to go, I will be something special, and I'll tell you guys what it is.
I can't wait for that.
If it happens, I probably won't, but either way, I'm excited to have the idea in my head.
I love it. Me and my wife used to always go to Halloween parties. We've had a lot of fun, couple costumes. We went as Sheldon and Amy from The Big Bang Theory, Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen, CM Punk and AJ Lee. Like, we've had some fun. I'm kind of glad that we're not. Halloween can get a little crazy.
Yeah.
Like if it's a house party, it's one thing, but if it's like the bars and stuff, it's just it's madness. But the animals. We got their costumes. Lola's going to be Super Dog. If you've seen the new Superman, she kind of looks like her. I just can't wait to see her with that cape on. She's going to be ridiculous. And Nico's going to be a cop. So going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if Brittany actually ordered it, but on National Cat Day, which is today, she was talking about ordering Salem because, unfortunately, when we first rescued him, he had a big hole in his head. The Phantom of the Opera mask and a cape, which he'll hate. But he's a fat boy. As long as we feed him, he'll keep coming back. But that is it for week 9. Kacey, one of my highlights every week is doing this with you. You are the absolute best.
Oh, you are.
And so is Fantasy Six Pack. Check it out. FantasySixPack.net. Be sure to follow all their social media channels and also their YouTube channel. Appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. I just want to say, by the way, this show right here has picked up 12 subscribers this year from watching. They're literally watching the show.
Oh, you guys are so great.
I love YouTube, man. Like, it has all this data and stuff on there. Like, that's pretty cool that you can see that. We had our most views. Almost 700 people came to this page. And what I was really excited about for a 30-minute show, 40 hours of total viewing. That means at least, 80 people probably made it almost all the way through. So we appreciate each and every one of you, especially your dad.
Yeah, I was going to say, thanks, Dad. You're part of those hours.
When I can get my mom to watch it, that's when we're going to really make it. Actually, no, my mom would watch it if I asked her. My dad would be the one that if he watched it, I'd probably pass out from just shock because he's so funny. I try to get him all the time to listen to my stuff, and he's just I don't get fantasy football. I try to get him to play fantasy football. He loves sports. He watched more sports than anybody I know, including me. He didn't want anything to do with it. I'm like, okay, Dad, be the grumpy old man. That's fine. Get off my lawn, that kind of stuff.
Hobbies, come on.
Well, I hope everybody has a very safe and fun Halloween, and we will see you guys for, I can't believe I'm saying this, week 10 stats you need to know next week for fantasy football. We'll see you guys soon. Later.